Hello everyone, this is Old Soldier. The Boulder County fires, where a combination of high winds and fire destroyed hundreds of suburban homes, were a shock to many. This was not a wildfire in a wilderness area. This was an out-of-control fire pushed by extremely high winds that destroyed subdivisions in the suburbs. Many residents had only a short period of time to evacuate. The prospect of losing most or all of your earthly possessions, to include gear and rations procured specifically for emergencies, is daunting. What do you do to prepare for something like this? First, let's address what circumstances could make you evacuate. Some of these are hurricanes, flood, fire, war, and a chemical spill or a chemical accident. For this discussion, I am going to address the circumstances faced in the United States. My first suggestion is to do an area study of your location to determine the risk factors of an emergency you may face. Where I live, the risk of a hurricane is absolutely non-existent. However, to be honest, I don't think many, myself included, place the possibility of widespread destruction by fire in the communities of Louisville and Superior, Colorado, and the surrounding areas as high. Yet, that's exactly what happened. The potential for displacement in the U.S. by war is, in my opinion, low. Hurricanes generally are preceded by long periods of warning. That leaves us out-of-control fires, floods, and chemical spills. In planning for a worst-case scenario, it may be prudent to plan to leave your house on an extremely short notice. First off, what happens if you have to leave your house immediately with zero prior notification? The goal of survival is to survive. As unpalatable as it is, you may have to leave with the clothes on your back. You need to do what you need to do to continue remaining alive. Next, let's address if you have very limited time to evacuate, let's say 15 minutes. A pre-packed bag with a few essentials is a good idea. For more on this, you can refer to my previous video on go bags or bug out bags. Although my bag and equipment inside it is geared to wilderness preparation, they still have the basic items such as food, water, shelter, protective clothing, flashlights, first aid, and toiletries that may prove useful in case of an evacuation. A change of clothes may be added quickly or pre-packed. It is also helpful to identify comfortable footwear you can walk in. Next, let's talk about essential documents you may need to rebuild your life. Examples of these are birth certificates, marriage license, social security cards, passports, military records if you have served in the military, such as a DD-214, vehicle titles, property deeds, immunization records, and insurance documents. There are several techniques on how to deal with this. One technique is to have important documents consolidated in one place, safe, in your house, so that you can grab them and go. Another method is to have copies scanned to a memory card or thumb drive and placed in your go bag. If you have a safe deposit box, yet another technique would be to keep a copy of the scanned documents in there. An additional option is to have important documents scanned to the cloud. In all cases, it is important that these documents are secure because we live in a time where identity theft is an issue. Once these necessities have been met, it may be worthwhile to identify any precious keepsake or heirlooms, such as photographs or wedding rings that are portable and can be grabbed quickly. Plan for these and identify these items well ahead of time. Additional special planning considerations may be required for the elderly, young children, individuals with mobility issues, or pets. If you have pets, can they be carried? Do you have leashes, pet carriers, or kennels? These are all considerations. A simple plan may sound like, let's put our bags in the car, I'll grab the document file and photographs, while you grab the leashes and load the pets. Jill can help you. Let's meet in the driveway in 10 minutes. Simple, short, yet effective. It is always a good idea to have a half tank of fuel or better in your vehicle. Imagine this scenario. You and your family are evacuating. As you pull out of your driveway onto the street, the low fuel indicator light comes on in your vehicle. A bad situation has just become worse. Life gets in the way, but as a rule, try to keep your vehicle's tanks at least half filled when in the driveway or in your garage. I have family members that will never follow this advice, and most people listening to this do so as well. Do the best you can and keep vehicle fuel in mind when planning for evacuations. Okay, so your family is packed, you're in your vehicle with 3/4 of a tank of gas. Where do you go and how do you get there? It is a good idea to identify in advance routes out of your neighborhood to where you're going. Roads may be clogged with others fleeing and emergency vehicles responding. Use the acronym PACE, Primary, Alternate, Contingency, Emergency, as aid in planning routes, where applicable. Navigation apps on phones can be useful in avoiding log jams. Routes may be blocked. You may be forced to leave your vehicle and travel on foot. Are you in good enough shape to walk and carry a small bag or pack a mile, 5 miles, 10 miles? It may be as simple as driving to a hotel for a night or two to regroup. But what if this is a large event and all the hotels are full? It is recommended to identify in advance one or more family member or trusted friend that will allow you to stay a night or two to regroup and make decisions from there. A plan can be as simple as, if we have an emergency where we live, we're coming to your house. If you have one where you live, you can come to ours. Once again, this follows the KISS principle of planning. Keep it simple, stupid. Keep in mind, affected disaster areas can be quite large. Plan to have several options. What if you have no choice but to go to an evacuation shelter? It may be a necessity, but my recommendation is that this be your last resort, as you have lost most of your control over your surroundings and your security. Does all this seem overwhelming and unmanageable? There is an old axiom. How do you eat an elephant? The answer is one bite at a time. In other words, break your planning and preparations into small steps and execute them over time in a way that is manageable and palatable to you. Many become overwhelmed at the prospects of taking on a huge task, shrug, and hope for the best. Hope is not a method. Do not become complacent. The zombie apocalypse is probably not happening, but fires, hurricanes, chemical spills, and other disasters are for real. The most important thing is to begin planning and preparation today. Don't let the prospect of planning and making preparations overwhelm you. In his book, Survival Mindset, author Peter Crittenden states, "The challenges of survival have produced countless examples of heroism, courage, and self-sacrifice. These are the qualities that one can bring out in oneself given proper training and mental preparation." The reason to having a plan and making preparations is that decisions have been made in advance, and this reduces the number of crucial decisions you have to make on the fly. I hope that this has helped you and it has given you something to think about. This is Old Soldier out.